And one day, I had a girlfriend that was going to a book writing weekend on how to get your book out and how to get it out of yourself and on paper. And I knew that's what I was going to do, but I wasn't focused on that at all. I really just wanted to bond with my girlfriend. I wanted to go and have a great bonding experience with her. Well, I got to the weekend and it hit me. We're supposed to do the work this weekend and we're supposed to write a book. And when it came time for me to be accountable with that, I realized, okay, yes, I do. I have a book inside of me. I know about my internal guidance system. I know how to parent. And I'm going to meld the two, and I'm going to teach parents how to discover their own internal guidance system, how to befriend it, and use it in their parenting. And also teach children how to recognize and allow children to use theirs. So that was my book. And I got a wonderful outline that weekend, and I spent the next 2.5 years writing it, having it edited, till it's now a recently completed full manuscript. But why did I write this book? Well, I always felt that parenting was one of my life missions. It was always my passion, and it was a life mission to be the best parent that I could possibly be. My parenting experience offered a message. All of my experience that all of us parents do have, we all have a message. And I thought, well, this is mine, and I can offer parents a new perspective and a new freedom in their parenting. A new freedom because they would be empowering their children how to create their lives, rather than telling them how to create it like many of us often do. So my book starts out how I came to trust in my internal guidance system. I do tell that story in my book. And then how I came to allow my children to follow theirs. I didn't enter into parenting when my kids were young. I didn't really allow them to use their internal guidance system. I was teaching them about it, but I also had parenting fears and some issues on how I thought I wanted them to be, given my high ideal that I held for them. I thought I knew the way for them. But as I was parenting them, I came to really learn, that they knew their own way. So I had to live through that process of allowing my kids to follow their internal guidance system. I had to learn that. So I'm hoping that my book, that parents can skip the parts, at least some of them that don't feel good, and just more easily learn to teach their kids about their internal guidance system. So I hadn't integrated fully the parenting aspect of it. So how did I become the parent that trusted them to use their internal guidance system? Well, I had to encounter resistance from my kids. And resistance happens with children at really most every ages, but it can hit you really hard when they're teens. So when my kids became teenagers and I had my own ideas of how I thought they should be, or how I thought what grades they should get in school, well, being normal teens, they resisted. They resisted what I wanted to teach them. So I encountered resistance. So I had a teenage daughter who was 16. And her way of pushing back to what I was offering was to run away. And how I first reacted to her running away was to do probably what most parents would do, was try and retrieve your child. And I went to her school and I called the police, and I did all of those things. I was in a complete place of fear and panic, because my child was gone. But I knew where she was, and I knew that she was at school, and I knew that she was going to work because I checked up on her. And I came within the first week of trying to retrieve her and not having any luck at that because she was always one step ahead of us, I calmed down and I came to remember what I know, which is that I had taught my child how to use her internal guidance system, and I trusted that she would use it in this adventure that she was on. And even though I was in a fearful place of not understanding why she had done it, I knew that she would keep herself safe because I knew that she valued herself enough and she would follow her internal guidance system. So in my calming down, I allowed myself to follow my internal guidance system, which said, let her do this. So what I did do, I called the school to make sure she was at school. I called her work to make sure she was there. She never knew I was doing those things. And that was my way of being reassured that she was safe, that she was somewhere. And she actually checked in with me. She would call me every couple of days, and of course she was in her angry mood, her running away mood, and she would say, I'm just checking in. I'm angry, but I'm just checking in. And I said, well, I'm going to allow you to do this, but I want to know, I want a phone number of where you are so I know that you can be reached if need be. So the process went on, and it went on for 10 days, and she came home. And I asked her why she had chosen that particular time to come home. And she said, well, my sister is coming home from college tomorrow, and she'll be furious if I'm not here. So she said, you know, Mom, except for a few glitches, I managed to get everywhere I needed to be and do everything I needed to do. I didn't have a car, I didn't have a cell phone, and I had to get from school and work, and I had to do all of my things, Mom, and I pulled it off. And so even though we weren't back to our place of feeling completely good yet, I took a deep breath and I said, well done, child. Well done. You followed your internal guidance system, and even though it was very uncomfortable for your family, I'm glad that your takeaway from this is so positive. I know that mine is.